What episode are we on now?
I think 7, 8.
Is it 7? I think it's episode 7.
I think it's episode. I don't know how to tell.
All right, we are here for episode 7 of F1 My Life with Cam and Priya, a Formula One podcast. And
why are we talking like this?
I don't know. I'm weird. I'm awkward.
See, you needed to do the warm up.
And I didn't need to do no warm up. And we just watched the Azerbaijan Grand Prix happened this last weekend.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And so much craziness happened.
I'm so glad we already talked about quali, just for this specific one, because I feel like Azerbaijan was a cluster.
Yeah.
So good.
It was crazy from top to bottom.
Also, it's incredibly early in the morning. Cam and I made a mistake. We went to bed at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Thinking that was a good idea. I don't know why we think that that's a good idea. It's like 2 a.m. and we're both like kind of fussing around on our phones, chatting. And I like turn over to Cam and I'm like, we really should consider like sleeping in and getting up in a little bit, like getting up after the race is done. But it's cumbersome, right? Because you got to turn off your F1 notifications. You got to inform people on Instagram. You got to
watch it later.
Yes. You know, and everyone's messaging now.
Yeah.
And then it physically hurt to get up for Azerbaijan.
I think that's the only downside to Formula One is like the early days.
Oh God!
Like how early it comes on, but like
I'm yawning at the remembrance of it.
They cater to Europe, right? Because in Europe, like they're like what, 5-6 hours ahead of us at least. 5 hours in the UK. So it's like if it airs at 7 o'clock here, it's what, at least
3?
like noon there.
I can't do that math.
It's like noon if not later, which is such a nice time. Imagine watching F1 at like around lunchtime on a Sunday. That's great.
I can only do Mario Kart math. I can't do time math.
Oh God.
Can't do it.
You're good at the Mario Kart math.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got up early and we watched it, and I'm glad we did.
Yeah.
Because like I was like, yeah, maybe we just watch it later because it's 7 a.m. But
quickly though, and we'll get to this part of the race, but I don't like to go on crazy tangents. When they red flagged the race with the plan to resume the race, I literally was talking to Cam about how excited I was to go to bed. And it was like 2 laps before going back to bed, or like, you know, before the podium, before the whole race was done. And we waited for like 20 or 30 minutes, and I was like, the F1 gods just can't be on my side today. I wanted to go back to bed so badly.
Yeah.
But then it got red flagged. So let's start from the top, man.
So Charles Leclerc got pole and started on pole, obviously.
That's what pole means.
Yeah, he started the race on pole, and
F1 for beginners.
Yeah, so I can't really remember how the grid started, to be honest.
So the grid started, I have it up for us here. Was it Lewis
Hamilton in second?
Yeah, so we had Charles Leclerc, Hamilton, Verstappen, and Gasly.
Yeah.
As the two front rows. Sainz, Norris, Perez, Tsunoda, Alonso, Bottas. Okay?
Yeah.
And I just want to say that like Vettel started in 11th. Okay? I think I just need to say that.
Yeah.
So the first couple laps were really eventful.
Yeah, we had like Charles Leclerc out there. I mean, he got a nice, like he got away.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly, but very soon after, I don't know. I guess he just didn't have like the speed throughout the race because he was ahead and then he kind of just like dropped out of it.
Yeah.
Pretty slowly, like everyone. Yeah, gradually people just started, passing him, and next thing you know, he was like, I don't even know where he finished. He was like,
he was in 5th, I think.
Was he in 5th?
5th, I think. Gasly, I believe, got 4th, and then I think Leclerc
he was 4th.
He was 4th. My mistake.
That isn't too bad. I mean, considering everything that happened, like, that's. I mean, he easily got. I mean, I guess everybody got 2 places bumped.
Yeah.
Because of what happened, but it was an interesting race.
Like before even like the first 5 laps are done, Leclerc is, like, woohoo, you're P1 or you're pole, and then it's like, okay, Hamilton takes control of the race and, edges Leclerc out and, starts, us all in our worst nightmares about him just leading another race for 51 laps and everyone going to bed angry listening to the UK anthem.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened. So I can't remember, when did Hamilton get passed? Like, he was P1, Leclerc was P2, Verstappen's P3. So I guess before even Hamilton, Perez did an amazing job of, like, sticking to Max's ass, basically.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mom. It's literally what he did, right?
Yeah.
He did a great job.
Perez had a hell of a race. That's for damn sure. I mean, he kind of really, like, proved himself in Azerbaijan for sure, that he's, like, when he can put it together, he's definitely got what it takes to not only, like, be competitive, but in this case, like, win the whole thing. Which was like amazing to see. But yeah, just a crazy turn of events. I mean, there wasn't really, like, any crazy, like in terms of just the drivers, like, their performance, like, I don't know, like,
there was a lot of fun stuff that happened.
No, I'm saying, but just in general, like, because we always, like, we'll get into, like, all the other stuff, but, like, I mean, like,
Alonso was out within the first 4 laps.
Alonso?
Or, sorry, Ocon.
No, yeah.
Esteban Ocon was out.
Ocon DNF'd. Russell as well. What happened to Russell? I can't remember what happened to Russell.
I know Latifi got a 30-second penalty for not understanding the red flag, and nor did his race engineer, apparently.
Yeah. Bottas had a horrible race. Absolutely horrible race.
Let's leave Hamilton, Leclerc, Verstappen, Perez, Gasly, and Vettel to the side just for a second, okay? Because I feel like there's so much, and I see it in your eyes. You're like, what do we do? So starting from the bottom, okay, Ocon is gone. Russell, we need to figure out what the actual happened to him. Giovinazzi, nobody cared about during this race because he just kind of did mediocre. He got an 11th, but nobody cares because there's no points associated with 11th. Did you hear about Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin?
No.
So they got a little tiffy at the end. Mick went to, turn, and Nikita, Mazepin just decides to, like, not know any limits to himself. Like, he's just this kind of jerk of a guy.
Yeah.
And he encroached on him, and Schumacher got, like, really upset about it. And Haas had to, like, relay that, they smoothed it over at the end. But, I mean, Nikita Mazepin is just an absolute jerk on and off, I feel like, the track. And I'm just not very impressed with him. What happened with Latifi?
I don't remember.
You sent me that, you told me about his track, or his race engineer.
When they were saying, what they said, that was Azerbaijan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what happened was they were like, oh no, when it was a red flag, his race engineer gets on the radio and was like, stay out. And he was like, to a driver, he's assuming that means, like, stay out of the pit lane.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I would think.
So he passes the pit lane because his engineer said verbatim, stay out. And then his race engineer was like, why didn't you come to the pit lane? And he's like, you said stay out. And he's like, no, I meant, like, stay out of, like, the actual pit, but come into the pit lane. He's like, well, if you say stay out, I'm assuming it means stay out of the pit lane entirely.
As most English
so he's like,
why
would you say that if, like, he's like, that doesn't make any sense. And this engineer was like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. So that's kind of
slammed with a 30-second penalty.
Yeah, that's kind of how that went down. And yeah, that's the thing with the FIA. Norris kind of dealt with the same thing. Like, it can be an honest mistake, but they do have, it seems like, a zero tolerance policy when it comes to flags and not adhering to what you're supposed to do on those, because it's like, you can't just give guys, like, free passes to kind of just because speed through yellows and, ignore blues, which Mazepin does all the time. And
jerk. Just because nothing bad happened doesn't mean that you shouldn't know the rules. And I think, especially for these young drivers like Norris, Latifi, who are newer to F1 than, let's say, like Verstappen or Hamilton or Perez, I think it's good to reinforce that. And I hate it because, Lando got hit with a grid penalty due to the red flag during quali, you know, and that was the 3 grid penalty instead of the 5 grid penalty. And it sucks. And he's one of my favorite drivers. So for me, I know that was like kind of like, well, nothing bad happened. But how else are they going to learn, you know? How else are they going to reinforce those rules? Because when a red flag situation happens, you got to get off the, you know, you got to get off the track. And it's not his fault, but I mean, yeah, that's the reason that Hamilton didn't finish in dead last. And that obviously Latifi finished in last. You brought up, you know, Bottas had a really terrible race.
Yeah.
He didn't really do anything.
I don't know what went on there. I didn't even watch any like post-race stuff with him either, but I guess there's just no real explanation. I mean, both of the Mercedes had like a hard
Don't do it.
a hard time. It's contagious.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, both of them, like in quali and whatnot, yeah, they had a bit of a hard time getting the cars up there. But
I mean, Hamilton only got up there because of the toe.
Yeah, nothing too insane.
You know, it's funny because I saw a lot of memes this week. I think I sent you one today about like Toto Wolff when like Bottas messes up on something small and insignificant. He's like about to throw something out the window. But when Hamilton like messes up on something like grave, costing them like 25 points, he's like, oh, we race as a team. We race as one. So like, it's so unbalanced, but it is what it is. Bottas just didn't perform. I think he came out, in 12th? He qualified in 10th. I mean, I don't see a reason for why he did so poorly, especially when 1, 2, 3, 4 people DNF'd.
Oh, man.
But, I mean, that is what it is. You know, Raikkonen finished in 10th, so good job, Kimi. You got points. He was a pretty, I think he was a pretty steady driver. He did something with his 4 places that were taken out. He started, I think, in 14th, and he came up to 10th.
Yeah.
So great. He did a good job. Ricardo. Nothing happening with this guy. We talk about Vettel, we talk about Ricardo, but I mean,
we're doing like back-to-back street circuits, you know, like.
And Ricardo's supposed to be good at these.
I guess. I don't know. It's a weird thing. I'm yawning a lot. Whoa.
We've talked a lot about Vettel and Ricardo just not making their mark. Obviously, Vettel, what is it, as Crofty says, pull his elbows out, you know, and he raced his ass off.
Yeah, Vettel had an amazing race, obviously finishing in second.
Is ass a bad word?
Which is no, not really. It's just an animal.
Donkey, children, donkey.
Yeah, he ended up in second. He had a crazy race, man.
Do you need a coffee?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, Vettel had a crazy race. I don't know what else to say. He just passed everybody, man, and made it all the way up. Although there was the restart, and I think that's pretty advantageous to a lot of people, in particular. And I think he obviously definitely took a lot of advantage in that situation. But I mean, regardless of what the circumstances are, it wasn't it was a wet race or anything crazy like that. Everything for the most part was fairly standard. You stop, you have a red flag, you do a standing start and everything like that. So for him, yeah, that was incredibly well earned. And
he battled really well. I mean, he went wheel to wheel with Leclerc, with Gasly, with the teams. I mean, he rose from 11th. So if you do the math, all right, he should have ended up in somewhat 7th place with all the DNFs and stuff.
Yeah.
If you think about it, the major DNFs, he was P2.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exceptional. It was amazing to see Vettel the way he was. And he's this on and off the track, right? I say I always enjoy him because off the track, he's buddy with Mick, you know, which is a cute little.
He's nice with everybody, though.
Yeah, he always gives
nice
Max the like pep talk after. Like, he's just a nice guy, but it was nice to see the nice guy not finish last this time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He did an amazing job, and I was really proud of Vettel, and I think it proved what I was saying maybe to be wrong. Like, maybe this isn't the last that we're seeing of Vettel, because he was just kind of middle of the ground, you know, and now we're seeing him.
Yeah. But I mean, the argument can be made. I mean, he got on podium in one race that had some craziness go on too, right? So like, it's and again, it's like I feel like with these street circuits, it's kind of hard to tell exactly where or what is going to happen. So
you hear Tsunoda yelling in the background.
Yeah, Tsunoda lost his mind. Like, it's hard to tell exactly where people are going to end up, but they're going to go back to like regular circuits now.
I'm excited for France. I will say that. I'm excited for France. I'm excited to see what like regular races do. You know, I was really expecting Mercedes to come out of the pit lane, like just like their elbows out, like just trying to be the best that they could after the horror that was Monaco.
Yeah.
But I was pleasantly surprised. So I guess getting into the nitty gritty of what happened at that race, it was, I think, between a couple of different drivers. First we had in, I think it was like lap 30, 31.
Yeah.
Stroll's horrific accident crash. I mean, that was hard to watch, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
You know, and for a second I thought that he was just, I thought that he had tried to pull like a kind of a cool move or something, because you know how sometimes he can be a little bit cocky and he like tries to make aggressive moves. But when I saw the replay,
he was on a straight.
I know, I you know, when you first hear about it, you're like, that's just Lance Stroll being Lance Stroll. But then when I saw it, I mean, he was literally on a straight, what appeared to be maybe going down the pit lane, or entering the pit lane, and his tire just burst.
Yeah. It's kind of weird because, like, I mean, when I first saw that, I wasn't sure if maybe he lost grip on the back or something. But like, I mean, initially in the first few seconds, you're like, oh, what the hell happened? But it was like very apparent that a tire just burst on him for, you know, they were saying at the time for whatever reason. But yeah, he was like lucky because I mean, he was lucky he was on a straight, because if you were going through a turn or something, or it was like a chicane or something like that, like who knows how badly that could have been. Although he was still going like pretty fast.
It's going really fast.
You know, like it's a straight. Like you're going pretty much as fast as you can down a straight. But that was kind of insane.
And that launched like the first conversation into what the heck happened. You know, they were saying that he was going on the hard tires, and he was under the 45 laps.
He was way under.
He was obviously it was at 30, so these were new tires, or semi-new tires if they were from quali. They're under the 45, guideline that Pirelli gives to racers to use their tires. So
to drivers.
What did I say?
Racers. I don't know if racers is exactly the
racers or race
technically
drivers.
Anyone who races, like whether it be sprinting or.
I'm a racer.
Yeah.
I race on the road every day.
You can race anything.
Work. Yeah. I fast walk race.
You can race to see who eats their dinner quickest. It's a race.
That.
Technically, you're a racer.
I race to do that.
No, the thing is, like Pirelli, like, and I didn't realize this until like later, like when we started watching Formula One, but like the hard, medium, and soft tires are not all the same. No. They like shift it based on their tire compound. So it's not that the hard tires are not like hard enough or whatever, but like it's just that they've selected the wrong. They should have gone with even harder tires.
Yep. For
this race, and that was apparent with Lance Stroll, and then also unfortunately apparent with Max Verstappen.
That was heart-wrenching. It was. Yeah. I'll never forget the moment where the commentators were talking about how Max is leading and without any issues, like he's gonna make it to the end. And I remember in my mind thinking, like an Indian auntie, like, you shouldn't put Nazar on him. You shouldn't put that black eye on him. And I literally was like, something's going to happen. And not even 60 seconds later.
Yeah.
Same thing, going down a straight and just.
I don't know what you even say. Like when that happened, I was just like at a loss for words. I didn't even like react to watching it. I was just like I couldn't believe it, and then at the same time I could. I was like, I don't know. I just feel like with like the luck that this guy has, or the lack thereof. Mm-hmm. It's just, and I don't know how else to explain it. It's just like bad luck. Like he has bad luck with things. Like besides Lance Stroll, like nobody else's tires, had a failure. But like the fact that it had to be Verstappen on a race that he was leading, and like just 3 or 2 laps before finishing the race, his tire goes out and he crashes and he's done. That's like completely heartbreaking.
It was like 5.
I don't even think it was that. I think it was like 2 laps because
they had to bring it was like 47 or something. You're right.
I mean like official laps.
Yeah.
I think it was only 2 official laps that were left.
Yeah.
In the race, and
they did an out lap at 49 with the safety car 40.
Yeah.
And then 50, 51. Yeah. 50 is when they
like
took
flying
off.
laps. I mean.
Yeah.
So I mean that. I don't know, that just really sucks for him, and
it was awful because everything else had been so up to par. Like Verstappen was ahead. He was ahead of the race. We had
he had a quick pit stop.
He had a sub 2, 1.9, right?
Yeah.
Pit stop. Perez actually was the one that got shafted by Red Bull because, I think his like left rear or something didn't go on properly and his was 4.3.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So, he was bringing up the rear, as I spit everywhere. He was like bringing up the rear and, but he was doing that bookend that they always wanted, right? It was Max, Perez, and then right behind them, they were keeping the silver arrows at bay, and he was really working hard to like be that person that's, keeping Hamilton behind. And that the great part of it was like even Hamilton had like a tiny bit of a hold up in the pit lane. It was like 4.6 seconds because it wasn't going to be a safe release, and like it caused Perez to be able to come out and at that time position 2.
Yeah.
And we were all rooting for Max, right? This is the race of Red Bull, like a 1-2 finish. We were all just kind of like, I think by lap 40 we were all just like, yes, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But then, we had a couple of drivers, do mess ups, like, Carlos Sainz, lap 11, just kind of locked up and ruined his entire race.
Yeah, he went off onto the, like, I don't know what they call that, the road, like
the runoff.
The runoff road. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was, I don't know. I think he just locked up and like, but that was happening in quali definitely. Like a lot of drivers were doing that.
Yeah.
They were just like locking up and going into that runoff area.
Yeah.
Which, that's unfortunate for him, because I think he was having a pretty good race up until that point.
Yeah.
But, that's part of driving in a street circuit. Like, there's tight turns. You got to know when to brake properly, try not to lock up.
Yeah.
And, it is what it is, right?
He started in P5, finished in P8.
Yeah.
I mean, it was lucky that it was at the beginning of the race so that he didn't have to really, lose all the points. Yeah. Ferrari had like a pretty good end, right? 4 and 8. They were both in the points, yeah. Which I know that's not what Binotto really wanted, but...
obviously they want to be like up there.
Yeah.
But considering, I think, they're doing decent. And I mean, like, where would Carlos have been if that, if he didn't go off into that runoff?
Part of me thinks he could have beaten Leclerc, to be honest with you.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you never know, right?
Yeah.
So,
I guess with like, so that was, Lance Stroll had that huge, incident. He was out. And then obviously Max in the 40s laps, he just... still breaks my heart to say it, because he had such a good race. So, and then, the red flag, right? The red flag comes about. And, obviously between this, we're seeing some decent passing. But for the most part, you're right. It was a street circuit. We had people kind of staying where they were for the most part, other than maybe in, like, the back end. But then we had the restart, after the red flag.
Yeah.
And that was Pretty crazy.
That was nuts. I mean, they had the standing start, which wasn't... I mean, throughout this whole race, like, Vettel was, like, making moves and whatnot, but the standing start, like, you get, you know, all the cars there, and everyone kind of assumes, like... I assumed, like, even with Perez, like, on the front there, I was like, I don't know how much he could hold off Hamilton. Like, Perez is great and everything, but I think, like, Hamilton is very good off of starts. Especially even if he's in second, he can usually like make his way into first and just start pulling away. So like, and it was crazy because like that's exactly what happened up until he got to the first turn and just sailed right by everybody. Which was like the craziest turn of events on. I mean, Verstappen crashing was pretty bad, but then Hamilton like completely screwing up the race and like drifting right off was...
The Lord answered my prayers.
Don't even say that. That's so rude.
He did. I was gutted. I was so sad. I was screaming profanities.
Yeah.
Absolutely upset. Couldn't believe the terrible luck that Max had had. I'm emotionally involved in my 2019 friends' lives. Now that we're not friends. I'm so emotionally involved in just the fact that he's come so far and he had all these DNFs last year. To see him out of the championship and just see P1 in Lewis's hands, and the thought of hearing the English anthem again was giving me anxiety.
God.
And so for me to see that Hamilton, I mean, obviously you never hope for a crash or an error, nothing like that. I mean, you can hope for errors. You can hope for errors. That's what you should hope for, I think, in games like, in races like this. I was hoping for a miracle because to see Max get out of the championship when it's just so hard to come back from 18 or 25 points. So that was like redemption. That's what I kept messaging all my F1 friends. I was like, redemption, you know, because it was.
Yeah.
You knew that even if this race was a wash, you could truly celebrate Checo winning. Because you knew that Hamilton wasn't just going to take his 8th championship.
Did you hear what exactly like happened, like with him?
The party button thing?
No.
Who?
So Hamilton apparently, and this is I'm assuming, like I don't know how correct this is, but they were saying that they have like a mode during formation laps where I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know if the brakes are just applied automatically a little bit or something along those lines, but they have some kind of mode on the car that involves the brakes during a formation lap where it allows them to like heat up while the formation lap is happening. So it does something to the brakes, which I don't know if they're just touching a little bit, and it heats the brakes up a little bit prior to a race. So that's why like even when they were like looking to do the restart, you know, that shot they had and there was all that smoke coming out of like Hamilton's tires.
Yeah.
That's because like they have a mode that heats up the brakes. That's why there was like so much smoke coming out. And apparently I don't know if he hit the switch again or if he just forgot to take it off, but that mode was on and that's why the car didn't brake like it should have going through the first turn, and he just
this
like
was
sailed.
the turn.
Yeah.
And this was Hamilton.
He like sailed right by. So
it's not a good diagram.
Hamilton finished in I think 15th in this race.
Yes.
And Perez won the whole thing.
Happen.
This is his second win and like his second Grand Prix win with over Perez.
Yeah.
Like within the next couple of years. I don't know his full history, but like he won last year one race. And then he won this race here, so that's his like second win.
How amazing was it to hear the Mexican anthem?
Yeah, that was pretty cool to see him up there. And then also Vettel in second, and then Pierre Gasly in third.
It was so amazing. Gasly at the end, I'm yelling again. Do you ever have to adjust the volume for me because I just start screaming? No. I should mess with it.
But when you start talking like that, then it's like a little tricky.
So at the end, Gasly was fighting for his podium. He earned that podium. He deserved that podium. I don't care what anybody says. He went like so, like, it was Gasly, Leclerc, Gasly, Leclerc, Gasly, Leclerc, like, up until the last street before the end of the race. Like, it was amazing to watch them, too. And they have such camaraderie afterwards. I saw them both congratulate each other.
Yeah.
And it was so nice to see. I mean, it was a young... No, I mean, Checo's not young, but, like, it was a young person's finish. It was, well, and Vettel's, sorry, old, too.
Vettel's not that old.
He's old.
How old is he? He's, like, in his 30s, maybe?
How old is Sebastian Vettel? 33!
Yeah.
He's old.
He's not that old.
Cam's 33.
Wow.
Are you going to be 34 this year?
I can't even remember.
I can't remember either.
33.
You're going to be 33 this year?
Yeah. Sebastian Vettel's age.
Old. Anyways, so we had obviously like two somewhat old people, Checo and Vettel. And then we had like Gasly, Charles Leclerc, and then Norris finished P5. And I can't be happy enough for Norris. You know, he deserved that. But it was just such a hectic end to the race. I feel like we didn't even talk about the red flag that happened with Stroll. So I think at one point Max Verstappen had a good, I want to say 5 to 7 second lead over Hamilton. But then Stroll had his major tire blowout, and then it caused like a restart of the race. And, you know, he had to snake everybody up and then, you know, went. And that's where I believe Hamilton got initially into P2. He was in position 2 because he got like, he got ahead, I think. Or maybe he got the toe at the beginning. No, sorry. He got the toe at the beginning where he was able to pass Charles.
Yeah.
That was at the beginning of the race. But anyways, in the restart after Stroll, I mean, that was so interesting just to see everyone bunched up again, right? Yeah. I feel like that helped a lot of the people who maybe messed up, like Carlos Sainz. Like, it really helped him because he was like down and out of the race in lap 11, you know, after he went off into the runoff area.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 2 crazy restarts, and then the 2 championship leaders, I mean, Verstappen more than Hamilton, out of the race.
Yeah.
Yuki Tsunoda, you know, he wasn't happy with P7. He's an angry little child. I
mean, considering Gasly got 3rd.
Yeah. Gasly's been in F1 for how many years, come on?
Yeah, Yuki has a hell of a temper. Like, something is up with that kid. Like, he gets so mad when he's racing. And even in the one of the things, like, they were asking him, he's like, I don't know why I get like that, but I just get. He's like, he gets so angry, man, and that's like a little disappointing to see. I don't know, but then again, like, racing like the fastest cars in the world is obviously high stress and high intensity. Like,
you don't see like Vettel yelling at his race.
Vettel's all up in his car, like singing all these Italian songs and all this stuff.
He's
you know,
so cute about it.
It was like, yeah, he's but no, Gasly had like an amazing race. Even like the last few laps when they were finishing off the race, and he had, I think, he had Norris and Leclerc. Yeah. Mm-hmm. On his butt, and he like kept them at bay. Like, that whole little battle over the last 2-3 laps was like insane, but he was able to hold it out and keep the place. But yeah, good on him for pulling that off. It was cool to see him get a podium, but
that was amazing to see. I think that was amazing to see. The other comeback kid that I was really proud of, Norris, you know, came from 9th into P5.
Yeah.
You know, he knew that the McLaren wasn't gonna kill it, but he also, I mean, put mad points up for his team, and I just think he's a consistent driver. I'll always say that he's a consistent driver.
I feel like with Norris, like, if he qualifies well on a race, like, he has an amazing shot to get on podium. You know, like, it seems like the cars are really like performing like really, really well. So, and you know, if he qualified better, I don't even know with Ricardo. I think Ricardo's like not. I don't think he's found his groove with the car just yet. Mm-mm. But Norris for sure. Like, if he qualifies well, I feel like on the races that he has qualified well, he's done really well and podiumed a few times. So.
It's not just where you start, it's where you finish, but it does matter where you start. You know
Of
what
course.
I mean? It does, and
It
especially
helps.
in a race like
It helps.
a street circuit. But I mean, he really again made up the proper spots for all the DNFs. He went from 9th to 5th, so
Yeah.
I can't be mad at him. I mean, he's this is what his 3rd year. Like he's 3rd, 2nd.
Who?
Lando?
He hasn't been in F1 that long.
3 years.
Hasn't been that long at all.
It's been 3 years.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, because I remember when he started with McLaren and Carlos Sainz was there as well. Yeah. No, I mean, it's just, I'm not mad at the fact that he was in 5th place. Like, I feel like that is where I expected him to be. I would have been kind of surprised if he got higher. I would have been disappointed if he was lower. Consistent driver. Ricardo just needs to get it together. I mean, Alonso finished in 6th. He finished behind Norris. Like,
yeah.
It's just, I need Ricardo to get his act together.
I think Norris is kind of the like story of the
McLaren.
I mean, so far he's like the guy to watch
Yeah.
this season, you know, because they talk a lot about like development, and it's like you're not really seeing too many guys like, you know, like, I mean, we'll see how Ricardo does, but thus far, like, maybe Ricardo from here on out will have like an amazing season, but thus far, like, Norris has been the one that's really like shined and been doing really well. I think him and Leclerc are really showing like great consistency in the top.
Yeah.
You know, Gasly like
he's inconsistent.
He's inconsistent, but he had a great race and he podiumed and everything. But
what happened when it was Monza though? Didn't he win Monza and then the next race he like crashed or something or did not finish? And it's like, I really appreciate, that's why like it's gutting, it's so like wrenching, it's heartbreaking when Verstappen doesn't get what I feel like he deserves. You know, we have like it's odd to see 2 consistent drivers in a single team.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like we see that, you know, Verstappen and Checo, consistent drivers. You don't see it in Mercedes.
Checo isn't as consistent though. Sometimes he has good races, sometimes he
I
has
feel
bad
like
races.
more than not he's been consistent unless something like look at this race. He finished and his race engineer was like, "Good job. Stop the car. Stop the car. Stop the car." Like he is the comeback kid. He makes the tires work.
Who?
Checo.
Yeah. Well, their car was like on like they said. I don't even think they thought they would finish that race.
No, they didn't.
You remember that? Like they were saying, like his car was having some kind of crazy issue or crazy problem, and they barely like pushed it all the way. They barely finished the race allegedly. Like he didn't even make it back to park his car behind the sign. Like they literally needed him to stop the car right there and pull over.
That was the funniest, I think, commenting. It was like, "Great job." Everyone's celebrating in the background. Stop the car, stop the car, stop the car, stop the car. So funny.
It was, yeah, that was kind of, I was wondering when they were doing that, I was like, why the hell is he telling him to stop the car right away? But I think with these cars, it's not like any other car where it's like it mitigates itself and keeps things in a safe place. Like with this, they manually adjust everything and you just drive it and that's that. So I think they kind of had it like, you know, for a better lack of a term, like redlining for a little while. They pushed it to the extreme limit, and then I think to prevent any damage or anything, they had to have him just like turn it off completely just in case. But
he's good at like maneuvering that. What is the race where he was on the out lap and he almost didn't make it to the line to
where you had to restart.
Yes.
You had to refire the
You know,
engine.
it's like, and so when you say he's not consistent, maybe he's not consistent with like the marks, but he's consistent in the effort that he puts into driving that car and literally squeezing every single bit of power out of it.
Yeah.
And he's done that in every car he's been in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What a crazy podium it was. Every single person on that podium had been ousted from a team. Vettel had been ousted from Ferrari. Checo had been ousted from, now Aston Martin. And Gasly from Red Bull.
Well, Gasly's been out of Red Bull for a minute now.
Whatever. It was a very cool picture-perfect moment. Just let me...
Yeah, it's not your typical, like, podium in terms of teams or drivers. I mean, Red Bull, yeah, you see Red Bull up there, but this is Aston Martin's first podium.
Yeah.
And obviously AlphaTauri you don't see up there, like, a lot. I think we saw Pierre once last year. That's it.
Yeah.
Right? So, no, it's always nice to see. It's interesting to see like other drivers up there. I like to see either Max or anybody else.
Tell me how you really feel.
Except Hamilton.
Yeah. I apologize to anyone
but
who does follow me.
I mean, when you
when
you see Lewis Hamilton winning every race and Max Verstappen getting second, it makes things way too predictable, you know, and it makes things honestly makes F1 a little boring.
Yeah.
When he's just like literally, it's like, oh, Lewis Hamilton takes first, and oh, Lewis Hamilton wins the whatever Grand Prix, his so and so win. It's like, yeah, okay, we've heard this so many times. Like,
remember, they're like, this is the first race in, I don't know, like however many races, like 50 or 90 races that Hamilton hasn't finished, or no, hasn't gotten points.
Yeah.
And I was like, how the heck are you guys keeping track? Like, I don't want to, you know, I get that it's like a huge streak and it's coming to an end, but somebody asked me, they're like, you're just not happy because Max didn't win. And I was like, I'm actually incredibly happy at the results. It's not that I didn't want like Hamilton to finish or to get points or whatever, but it's just nice to see people's skills come out in the way that they do. Like Vettel was able to push it and show us kind of what he was made of and that glory that he had back at Red Bull and Ferrari. And for Checo, I think, I mean, like, did you hear what Christian Horner said? He's like, he's here to stay. I mean, I don't want to see the same BS Red Bull turnover.
I think Christian Horner is very like Toto Wolffy in the things he says. I think he's saying the things that play well to the media, but he clearly has no problem moving and getting rid of drivers when they don't work for him. For example, Daniel Ricciardo. Alex
he didn't
Albon.
get rid of him. That's so not true.
He didn't get rid of him, but he didn't like the story. According to Daniel Ricciardo, is like they were pushing Verstappen. Like I don't think he got rid of Ricciardo, but I don't think he was like miffed to see him leave.
He was incredibly miffed to see him leave.
Oh yeah, he was.
He was incredibly miffed to see him leave.
That
Netflix
whole thing
finally
with
got
Renault.
right. But no,
Renault,
Netflix got it right, and I did do my fact checking after that. Oh my God, Ricciardo just literally. I mean,
but
Christian Horner was
like,
shocked.
He's like not attached to drivers like that. Like I mean, Verstappen, yes, he is, but that's the only. But it's the same with Mercedes. Like I think they're attached to Lewis, but they wouldn't care if a second driver comes in.
I know.
Right. So.
But I think that it was amazing to have Checo do kind of what they wanted. He was playing Bottas. You know, because that's what Bottas does. Bottas plays the bookend. He keeps the rest of the grid away from Lewis so that Lewis can shine and have clean air. You know. Yeah.
He was. I
wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
Did you look up the reference yet?
No, but like I get what it means. Really. You know, the thing is, like, I think if you think about it though, when it comes to like Lewis Hamilton. If there was no Max Verstappen, like, Lewis would be just, like, completely destroying every other driver here, right? I think that's why when, like, because he really doesn't have any other competition, to be honest.
Yeah.
Other than Max Verstappen. So if Verstappen goes out, it's just kind of like when people are like, okay, yeah, Lewis Hamilton, like, wins. And it's like, it's not like he's a great driver and I admire him and everything and it's all great, but it just doesn't give the races that excitement that I think people like to see, you know, when they want to see, and that's what F1 is trying to do with all the changes and all these things that they're making. They want to make it more competitive because I think a lot of people, and it's not just me, like a lot of people feel the same way when they watch F1. They're like, you know, it can get kind of boring after a little while, right? So if you have the exact same person winning all the time, qualifying all the same, and, you know, winning all the races, like, who wants to see that? You want to see some competition, right?
You also want to see Mazepin go off at the, you know, the runoffs and stuff. That was hysterical.
Why are you hating on Mazepin?
I don't like him. I don't like him. He ended up turning around lap like 22, 23, 24.
Yeah.
And those guys were like, Mazepin. And then he like went off and stuff and they were like, oh my God, we did it.
Yeah.
And then almost didn't let Verstappen and Perez pass properly. Like, that's not your job. Your job, Nikita Mazepin, is to hold up Hamilton, not to hold up Max, not to hold up Checo. Like, know your role and let's play nicely with others. I just don't feel he plays nicely with others. I don't think he's a proper playmate. I don't think he's nice friends. I don't know if he has friends in F1, to be honest with you.
I don't know.
I wonder. I want to look into that at one point.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was kind of the race, I guess. What else is there to talk about for the race?
That was really it, I think. I was really happy to see Tsunoda. I don't think he's happy to see it, but I'm happy to see him get his first points of Formula One that I'm aware of. And he qualified. He did a great job. He did a great race. He just has to get his attitude under control. I mean, I'm excited. I guess we can't really do predictions for France because we'll be doing quali and the race next time, right?
Yeah. We'll be doing quali in the race?
Yeah, same time, right? We'll be reviewing qualification and the race.
Are we?
Yeah, because we're going to do the next race. Welcome to Priya's podcast.
Well,
I'm now running this podcast.
Oh, whoa, this changed.
Yeah, so we're doing France next.
Oh, I don't have it in my calendar anymore. I removed it.
So France is in 9 days. So we're going to be doing, we'll be recording our next podcast after France so that we can cover quali and the race. So
that's right.
Yes, your idea.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. We should start doing that from now on instead. Yeah. So
I was just informing our 4 viewers about it.
Let me. We have more than that. We have millions of viewers. Okay.
We have 4. I don't even think our moms follow us. That's fine though. Other people's moms.
They're not gonna watch. Yeah. So power cars. This is an interesting circuit.
Very interesting.
There are two DRS zones. Why is there a DRS zone there? You get it all the way down this way. Oh, it's like, they show it in green. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Where the DRS zones are. Yeah, this is kind of track with a lot of straights.
And you know who does well in the straights?
Yeah.
Hamilton.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
The Red Bulls are competitive this year.
They are, but they're more competitive at the twisty turnies. You know what I mean? They just are. It just is what it is. But anything can happen, right?
Yep. And I don't like to make predictions until I see quali either.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
Well, I mean, anything, like you said, anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
So, I guess that's it. I'm looking forward to, I think they got like a triple header, right? Isn't it back to back to back for the next few weeks, like back to back races?
We have upcoming, yes, we do. France, Austria. It's going to be really interesting.
The Red Bull Ring. Oh, man. Max does well there.
Yeah, but he DNF'd there once last year. That was horrific.
But he's quick on that circuit. I like that circuit a lot. That's such a cool circuit. It's like up in the mountains and stuff.
It's beautiful. I mean, this one was beautiful too. This one was castles.
Yeah. That's cool. I mean, yeah, that's cool. But I really like the scenic ones, like that are in the mountains.
Okay, I get it. Castles
are cool
just
circuits.
Not bougie enough for you. It is what it is. I get it. So yeah, tune in next time. We're gonna be, Cam's gonna be. I'm
gonna be traveling for work a little bit,
Yeah.
but I mean that won't change anything. I'm gonna be watching the race, like from a hotel room possibly.
We might be recording as a Zoom call.
But the no, I think we'll do the next one here at home. We should be able to get it done here at home. So we'll do that, and then
let us know if there's anything to our actually 4 viewers, anything you guys want us to know or talk about. Let us know.
Or anything we missed that you guys
or anything we were wrong about.
Rumors. Conspiracy theories. Anything.
Send them to us on Instagram too. A lot of people follow us on Instagram.
Yeah. And make sure you guys subscribe on Spotify if you're not listening on Spotify already. Or if you are, you're probably already subscribed. And if not, head over to the YouTube channel or search at the F1 My Life podcast on YouTube. You should find the channel, and you can watch the video version.
Which I think is a lot more fun than listening to us.
Yeah, you can see us.
You see us in all of our glory and the same couch and pillows.
Awesome.
No blankets, though.
Yeah, no blankets.
Come back for winter. Thanks, guys.
Time for dinner.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Shoot, it's like 8:30.
Dinner time.
All right, bye.
Catch you on the next one. Bye.